And we could call this one Lending Crisis 103. And I'm going to talk about global warming. What has this got to do with the lending crisis? Well, the lending crisis was an orchestrated crisis based on the idea of the Cloward-Piven strategy of orchestrated crisis. All it takes is a few manipulators to use the greed and corruption of countless others, the low moral standards of politicians, the selfishness of voters, the compliance of the media, and this country can be sabotaged economically. What's this got to do with global warming? Well, let me explain first what global warming is. And I'll use the analogy of those of you who've had 401ks and you were invested in certain stocks. And suppose, for example, you probably weren't invested in Microsoft, but suppose you were invested in Microsoft and you bought it at $35. And in a couple of years, it had gone down and down and down to around $10. This is obvious. You know that the value of your holding has declined. There ain't no doubt in your mind. It's obvious. And occasionally it jumps up to $11 and then declines to $10. And you stop watching it because you notice that, well, it's down around $10 or $11. I wish it would go up. But it really doesn't matter because it only needs to be up when you're ready to sell. When you're at retirement age, you wish that Microsoft could be $35 or $70 or $100, or maybe it splits and you got 2 shares worth at $35, whereas you bought 1 share at $35. It really doesn't matter what it's doing right now. It just needs to be, it needs to appreciate in value over the course of your life as you approach retirement age, and you hope that when you take the money out of your investment that it will be up at least a little bit, you know. Okay, so you understand that. You understand Microsoft. You understand the stock chart. You've seen a stock chart. If you plotted the Earth's temperature over the past million years, you would see that, like Microsoft, it fell. It fell. And we on this planet, this Earth, entered a geologic period of time called the Ice Ages, in which ice formed at the poles. And a lot of ice would occasionally form at the poles, and from time to time the ice would retreat. The oceans would warm, the sea levels would rise, and then the cycle would repeat. Just like your Microsoft stock going from 10 to 11 after having been at 35. That's the climate of this planet. Believe it or not, we're in a cool phase. We're in a warming trend in the bottom of an ice age. In other words, our weather is actually perfect. It can't get no better than this. We're not too hot, we're not too cold. We're perfect. We were too cold. Now we're perfect. And if the trend continues, it's going to be too cold again. What's this got to do with lending crisis? See, I do my best not to be confusing. Here is proof that the so-called progressives in our government are trying to commit economic sabotage. They're wanting to burden us with taxation to cure this non-existent global warming problem. See? Do you see now? They're exposed as economic terrorists. They're going to raise your utility bills and the cost of everything you buy that is depending on energy, whether it's transport or manufacture. They are trying to cripple us. The media is going along with it. They claim to have a consensus among scientists. They don't. They do not. They have a propaganda campaign like you wouldn't believe. This is pure propaganda. It is not science. The media is complicit in this conspiracy to cripple the Western economies, and especially the United States, because the progressives are really communist, Marxist, Leninist, who have vowed to destroy what? They vowed to destroy what? They vowed to help the poor? No, they vowed to destroy capitalism. Because? Why? Because they are insane, because they're stupid, because they're misled. Everywhere they've gone, the result has been poverty, chaos, death, and misery. Kick the bastards the hell out of our Congress.